I'm gonna push to
Sorry.
for that come to me. They're mainly coming to learn how to slow down their heart and learn how to let go of stress. You know, you know, and when they come to you, they're gonna learn how to how to um, how to get rid of that stress with you guys' exercises. Is that sound right?
Yeah, nowadays, yes, absolutely. Because let's say, the mind is racing, right? And there's all these
Yeah.
thoughts, these, you use thoughts, as ways to get things done. You're thinking while you're doing things, but you don't end the thinking process. So it's still in the back of the mind going on. You don't even know it. Um, a reset is a physical reset, right? Breath can help to reset it. Movement can help to reset it, so that you become aware. And the problem is, let's say you start a program in your head, right? Oh, you know what? I gotta go to the store and buy some eggs and flour and milk and butter. And then something else comes up. Oh, hey, what's up, Jimmy? Hey, how you doing? Right? And then I start talking to you, and this thought's still going on in the back of my head about needing to go get this eggs, milk, and butter. And because I didn't end that mental process, what's happening is, as long as my body's not catching up to my mind, it's going to try. And so it's the nervous system will go through these motions as if, we're going to the store and trying to get the butter and milk and eggs. And when we're not physically doing it, the nervous system will do it. And then the subconscious mind will be mad at you, like, hey, why aren't you doing what you said you're going to do? And so your whole body feels discomfort and agitation and anxiety and stress. And I'm just talking to Jimmy. But what I don't realize is, oh my goodness, there's a program that I started running and I didn't shut it off, and I'm now running a new program, and that's this conversation we're having. And then another thought, oh, did I turn off the stove? You know what? I need to do more exercise. So now all of a sudden I keep forming these new programs and starting them all in the midst of talking to you. And then you say something that seems cool, like, oh, yeah, I remember doing that when I was a kid, but I don't say it. I'm just listening and relating in my own head to the conversation. I'm starting new programs again, and now all of a sudden, there's all this energy that's coursing through my nervous system, because with thoughts and thinking, we start to fire up neurons, and that gets electricity to flow through the nervous system. And when you're not breathing well, when your body's not doing certain postures or movements to learn to relax, okay, then you're going to hold these programs running with the physical tension within the nervous system, causing all the agitation. So what happens when you do the exercises, it allows your body to catch up with the mind, right? When you have sufficient amount of oxygen, then the energy cools down. It doesn't get so hot. Then it feels less kind of like poking and needles and things. And as you're able to breathe better and strengthen the nervous system through our systems, we don't strengthen muscles so much, but they do get toned. We focus more on the nervous system. So your nerves, instead of having little tiny wires that are always clenched, we teach the nerves to learn to expand. So now you can hold larger wattage of energy. And so when you do have those thoughts, you can learn to multitask in a healthy way instead of constantly burning out your energy systems.
Yeah, sweet, sweet, sweet. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking too, like a super advanced class. Like after they have taken both of our classes, we
Hmm.
can put them into like a balance exercise where they learn how to reduce the pressure in their joints.
Nice.
But
Very
you have
good.
to but they have to know how to catch the energy at that point. So I'm sure like they'll learn about the energy in your classes.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It'll take time, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can't just join the advanced class, you got to go through the ropes first.
Yep, exactly. You're right. We got to always build our fundamentals. And it starts with when the fundamentals start to build, you you have a basis, to work from. And you can always work towards higher goals, but you want to keep building that foundational, basis that you've built. So without working on the foundation, the whole infrastructure will collapse. And you try to add more things on, make the house bigger, but you're not building the foundation constantly, roof comes crumbling down.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're gonna build for everybody that comes to the classes and tries the classroom. It builds a solid foundation for the body to build energy, and that way the mind won't be so overwhelming because that's what we experience with stress and anxiety when the mind is constantly racing and the body's always trying to catch up and it's just lacking in its ability to go as fast as the mind. So over time the mind will start to slow down the more you become aware of it. And until the body catches up a little bit, it's like you're not aware. It's hard to be aware.
Yeah.
You catch yourself more often now though, don't you?
Yeah. I'm getting better at connecting, the energy in my mind to the rest of my nervous system. One thing I've been doing a lot is keeping my eyes low and then connecting that portion that I feel with that because I feel like a lot of it comes from up there first,
Hmm.
and then it starts to compound down to the nervous system in our solar plexus and our legs and whatnot.
Yep, definitely. Your legs are they say your thighs are chi pumps. So yeah, you'll feel it in your legs a lot. A lot of people they can't sit still. Their legs are always doing this kind of thing, tapping their
Yeah,
toe on the ground and stuff. It's all just energy misfiring. Stagnant chi, energy, being stagnant, not moving enough. So it goes to certain places where it needs to, free up actually.
yeah, yeah,
Well, that's good, man. The more aware you become, the less discomfort you'll experience.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I really love doing the like energetic awareness exercises, being able to tell like when it's in one place and then when it gets stuck and how to get it unstuck from the place that I feel it in. It gets
Hmm.
fun. It gets fun, because it goes there and then it goes there and you have to hurry up and calm it down in that certain place. Hey, VJ, I saw your message. One thing to do is to be aware of, the flow of your breath, and
Mm.
our stress
Yeah.
often comes from our flow of our breath being too fast. And when you can start to be aware of the flow of the breath and where it's getting stuck at, ultimately the first place you're going to feel it get stuck at is your mind. But if you don't catch that, then it's going to go to your body and then you'll feel the stress in your body.
Well said. Well said. I hope that answers your question, VJ. I can expand on it a bit. Your your brain will take all the breath, the energy that it needs in order to keep the body working and running. It's not something that you can control, right? But what you can do is start to become more aware of the breath. So if it's not as complete or sufficient as you need for the amount of energy output you're requiring, then you'll start to be able to build that back up. So, for example, if I'm running, right, joggers, when they don't have the proper amount of oxygen for the energy output that they need to get their job done, they'll cramp up, right? The muscles will get cramped. Certain parts of the body will start to get real tight and sore. The body releases extra cortisol. If you ever just go into your head and start thinking while you're trying to do physical exercise, you'll hurt yourself because now you're not aware that, the body needs certain things. And so awareness does start with the five senses, and it's hard to be aware of all the five senses. So picking one thing is key. And the cool thing about starting with breath is it helps to connect the mind and body, helps to connect the physical and non-physical. So you'll start to be able to differentiate between, okay, this is something physical that I'm experiencing and I just need more food. Or you'll be able to experience, okay, this is a non-physical thing that I'm experiencing, and obviously I need to calm my mind down. I need to, relax, maybe rest. But again, breath is well said, Jimmy, because breath is the key to developing that awareness, developing understanding of these messages that the body and mind keep relaying to each other. And oftentimes, we're totally unaware. That's why so many people stress eat, especially in America. Stress eating is huge because of lack of awareness. If you're not aware that you're under stress, then you'll think, oh, I just need some food. And then you'll go eat the things that are pleasing to the taste buds to get that dopamine spike, to feel like you're getting rewarded and doing good. And then, people indulge in that because they're not realizing that the reason that they're experiencing the distress is due to stress that they're holding on to and not letting go. So yeah,
Yeah.
awareness is the key.
And back to stress eating too, like ultimately, if you know you already ate, right? If you're getting stressed, it's because of some sort of unfulfilled desire. And ultimately, your mind is looking for the desire because it wants to relax. If you had $1 million, you probably, I don't know, you might still want more money. But if you ultimately have what you feel content with, something that you know that this is all I need, then the desires are going to start to less come. If you start to be accepting of what it is of where you are at in your current moment in life, then the desire is going to start to subside. They're going to start to leave because you're content with where you are currently. And you may feel that you're on an upward trajectory and you're going to be able to relax in knowing that you're going to continue to go up because life always goes up as long as you're continuously doing effort and intent to continue to go up the mountain.
That's very well said. If you're desiring to have more money and you wake up and you just go play games, right? Then you're going to have stress. You're going to have anxiety, discomfort, because the mind is not stopping on your desire. The subconscious is always going to be working on your desire, right? But if you're not consciously putting effort into helping to make that a truth, a reality, then you're not grounded in reality and you're going to be experiencing stress. Let's say I really want to make $2,000 this week and I wake up and I just start playing on my phone and scrolling and watching other creators who are making money, and I'm just watching, right? My mind is gonna be so mad at me that I'm not putting effort into something that I know I can do. Clean my house, wipe down these floors, um, clear my space so that as within, so without. If my environment is messy, then how can I do work in that environment that's progressive? It's hard. Feng shui is a real thing. Energy is real. So if I'm not working towards a certain goal that I know I need to do, then the other goals can't get accomplished. And so maybe cleaning isn't what I want to do, but that's going to get me to feel more comfortable in my environment so that I can do the work. Right now, I go sit down and I do a little bit of work, and oh gosh, it's already lunchtime. So I got to go make food and I go eat lunch. And then I get tired and I know I should go do some more work, but instead I take a nap, right? So I take a nap, I wake up, all of a sudden my mind is like, dang, I need to be making money. I need to work. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just go call up Jimmy and see what he's up to. Hey, and we just talk for like 30 minutes about nothing, right? That whole time your mind is going to be beating you up. It's going to say you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I didn't pick one thing that's actually helping towards my goal, then I'm going to experience stress, right? If you're not working towards your goals, then you're going to give yourself more stress than you realize. So if your desire is to have money, then you should not should, but you could be replacing the time you spend doing other things with time that works towards your goals. All right. And again, that desire can be causing suffering, but if it's a truly a desire from the heart, then you got to put time and effort into those things before you reward yourself. Otherwise, you're going to look for the food or, doing things that are damaging to the body, like, alcohol or smoking or something. You're going to do those things more than you really need to. Some people it helps them. So, you can use things as medicine, but as long as it becomes indulging, it's not medicine anymore. So it can be harmful. A lot of things, people use food for to cope, and it's not serving its true purpose. Even our food is medicine. Things that we consume is giving us sustenance and energy, and also treating the organs properly so they can heal. So we always got to remember, guys, it's important not to avoid the things that we know are necessary, the things that we truly want in our heart. Like, I want to make a song, and I got to go sit down and write, spend 20 minutes every night writing down some lyrics. If I want to make a beat, then I better go listen to music and find the instruments I want and get those instruments onto my program so that I can spend 10, 20 minutes trying to make a beat, right? Whatever it is, drawing, painting, martial arts, doesn't matter what the desire is. If you have a desire for something and you know it's something you truly want, but you don't take the steps to do it, then you're going to experience stress and anxiety.
Fire. Definitely 100%. Yeah.
That was a good question, though, VJ, because awareness of mind, awareness of breath, awareness of body, the five senses, that's going to help you to start to understand what's going on more within your own programming that you've developed. A lot of us, our programming tells us, oh, I have to have this, I have to have that, but that might just be a programming you can end, you know. Oh, I got to have the new shirt that comes out every week. And that could just be subconscious programming that, was put into your mind trying to keep up with, the Joneses, seeing how other people are and thinking that, oh, I have to do that too if I want to get to where I want to be. Now, that's different than hygiene, right? Taking care of yourself, because that comes with health. But a shirt, getting the newest shirt, getting the newest iPhone, that kind of stuff, if what you have works well, then learn to appreciate what you got first, you
Yeah,
know?
and the whole world is meant with the way that marketing is. The whole purpose of it is to make you feel less than and smaller than. So when you go
Hmm.
outside, you got to be aware of your mind and pay attention to the stimulus that you're experiencing and how it's making you feel. You'll see a bird, that's a stimulus. You'll see a couple, that's a stimulus. And you got to pay attention to how all these stimuluses are making you feel so you can reduce the pressure in real time that is affecting you. Before the thought even comes, the pressure is going to build up in your mind. But it takes a while before you can catch that before you get to the thought. It takes time and practice. So probably you'll just have the thought come to your mind. But if you focus on your breath, over eventually you'll be able to see the pressure before it turns into a thought.
Very well said. Everything in this world is stimulating us, and some things more than others. So, based on your eyes, you look, okay, you're now connecting with whatever you're looking at, and your nervous system is now being affected because we have neurons in our brain that mirror what we experience in our environment. So if I'm looking at somebody running, my nervous system will start to run a bit, right? If I'm looking at somebody being peaceful, my nervous system will start being more peaceful and calming down. So everything is stimulating us in different ways. And that's very well said. So when you start to become more aware of your breath, yes, you can become more aware of how things are affecting you because as you become overstimulated, your breath gets taken. You know, you see somebody of the opposite sex you're attracted to, all of a sudden your breathing gets stuck, right? You see something you really, really want. I have to have it. Your breathing becomes shallow. And that's a tall tale sign. Wait a minute. I need to drop what I'm thinking. I need to drop what I'm feeling for a moment and really just, you know, get my feet grounded back in reality. Ah, take a deep breath. I'm good. I don't need anything. Anything else that I want is simply to add on to my already complete self. Now you got to repeat that mantra, guys. Okay, because you don't really need anything. Okay. Goals made. Let me see what Sifu said. Goals made reminded leads to the way of taking right action. Goals made reminded. Can you explain that a little more? Goals made reminded leads to the way of taking right action. So when you're reminded of the goals that you make, that leads to the way of taking right action. I believe that's what he's trying to say. And that's very important to understand because when you're not reminded of these goals that we set for ourselves, like, you know what, I'm going to call my dad today. And I don't call my dad, then all day, poor dad, he's getting these pings like, Reza's going to call me. Reza's going to call me. Now his subconscious is expecting this. And now he's going to be a little bit anxious until I actually call him. Does that make sense? It's hard to feel these things and understand what we're feeling, but this stuff's real. Okay. Let's say my dad wants to call me, but he doesn't call me. And he's just thinking, wonder what he's doing. Should I call him? My nervous system's also feeling that. So, it's hard to pick up on what we're feeling all the time. But, you know, the only thing you can do is control what you do, how you think, and how you act and allow yourself to experience emotions. We don't want to react based off of things that we're experiencing emotionally. We want to be in control of how we output our energy and what we take in from the environment. So emotions are important to understand and have some sort of intelligence so that we can actually control this emotional output. Energy is everything, and emotions are basically energy in motion. So what Jimmy said was, let's be aware of how we are feeling so that we can now allow the breath to catch up to how our heart is beating. A lot of times we're not aware of what we're feeling. We react emotionally, and now the heart speeds itself up or slows itself down, but our breath is not matching the rate of the pulse. And so that's why we experience more discomfort and stress. Okay. Most of the time, it's the mind, what's doing a lot. And so now the heart is trying to catch up to what the mind is constantly doing. And that goes back to the programs that we start by setting so many goals for ourselves that are unattainable. Start small, you guys. Start with something that you can do. You know what? I'm gonna brush my teeth today when I wake up. Boom. You do it, you got some dopamine right there. You don't need to go eat a cookie when you wake up to get the dopamine. You don't need that coffee, right? You just got to set a goal and achieve it. Set another goal. You know what? I'm going to take a shower when I wake up first thing. Boom. You do it. You can breathe good. You know, people like you more actually because your energy's clean. Um, keep setting little goals that you can reach that will make you more successful. Your health is number one, you guys. So set good health goals. Hygiene is important for health. Sleeping is important for health, right? So set goals that you can attain, and that's going to be your dopamine right there. You'll realize, wow, I'm not overeating these candy or chocolate or cookie, whatever it is. You'll realize, wow, I don't need validation from others. You'll start to produce your own energy that's abundant and strong and vibrant. And the more you give, the more you receive. So The rule of thumb. VJ said, "Thank you, Sifu. How do I make goal? What I love?" That's a good way to start, VJ. Yes. What do you really love? You know, what makes you happy? What do you enjoy, and what is superficial? You gotta learn to understand that because maybe you think competing is making you happy, but actually it's giving you more stress, right? I used to think playing basketball and beating people at it was making me happy and showing that I'm better than them and scoring all the points. But that was just giving me more stress, actually. What made me happy was doing Tai Chi, doing yoga, meditating. At first, it didn't seem to make me happy because it was a struggle to sit down and do it. But once I did it, man, when I was done, it felt so good. So we got to find what we really love. I loved playing video games, but I quit playing video games for years because I told myself this is for losers, nobody people who just are not doing anything with their life. So I quit playing video games and I was like, no, I don't even like video games. I lied to myself so I wouldn't do it. And then one day Sifu was like, hey, try this game out. I tried it out. I'm having so much fun. Right now, I want to indulge in it and do it all day, all night. But then, I got to have a regulation of myself and, realize, oh, it's time to sleep. Oh, it's time to eat. You can't get lost in what you do. You got to set those goals, accomplish those goals. Maybe it's to do and set time limits for yourselves. Maybe, I want to play a game, but I'm only going to do it for 30 minutes tonight. And I set a limit for myself, then I'll feel like I accomplished another goal, especially if I stop after 30 minutes, right? So figure out what it is that you love. It's probably stuff that you did as a kid. Excuse me. It's stuff that aligns with your higher self. So if let's say, I love smoking cigarettes. Do I truly love that, or is that just something I'm infatuated with, right? Some people have obsessions with, you know, um, unhealthy um, habits. And do you truly love that? Does it align with what your heart and mind want for yourself? Is it helping you reach the goals that you're truly looking for? That's what you got to look at, right? Thank you,
Really helps
Sifu.
too.
Oh,
Oh, my
sorry.
bad.
Real quick.
Yeah,
He said, "Thank you, Sifu. How do I make goals? Is it what I love? Do what I love?" And Sifu said, "Sure." And VJ said, "Superpower. I love." But go ahead. We'll get to that. Go ahead, Jimmy.
yeah. What what really helps is so like if you have a goal where it's like I want to get to the top of the mountain, the thing is, once you get to the top of the mountain, you'll want to go to another mountain. What really helps is to be satisfied with the skill. I've been breakdancing for
Mhm.
several years. I don't do it to go to competitions. I do it because I truly enjoy the feeling of movement when I do it. I enjoy how I feel free when I'm doing it. And when you find a skill that also I like to code. When I code, I feel like I'm getting better at something. And I'm not having a strict goal of, oh, if I code this, then I can move on to the next app. Sure, I have some things in mind, but truly what makes me happy about the skill that I'm developing is seeing it flourish like a flower. You might want like that something that you planted over time, you get to see it grow. And that's something that will make you feel better than just seeing a goal is having the skill that you've chosen on and then seeing yourself develop. With meditation, it's the same thing. This relaxation is a skill. Yeah, being able to clear your mind is a skill. So if you have erasing thoughts, the more and more you get better at clearing your mind and relaxing, you'll begin to notice how much you're appreciating it. And you'll also notice other things that your awareness is showing you that you never thought was possible before.
Very true. Well said. Well said. You set a goal, but you don't know how you're going to do it. You just put some effort into it. I'm not going to write down exactly what I'm going to practice, but I am going to practice. and I'm going to be fully with what I'm practicing, focused on it and doing it for that period of time. That's success right there. When you set a goal and you're working towards that goal, you're successful. The moment you stop doing things like that is when you'll start to feel the stress on your heart. Um, VJ said he loves superpowers, and that's okay to love. And spending a little bit of time working on certain things is fine, but you can't get obsessed with it because then you're gonna push away all the other things that are actually gonna help you get to where you want to be with this relationship with yourself and your superpowers. Okay. So, spend 10 minutes on it, maybe 30 minutes at the most. But, you know, don't spend time outside of that 30 minutes thinking about it and focusing on it all the time when there's other things that are fundamental and basic that you have to build up if you even want to come close to those superpowers, right? That's where what Jimmy said comes in mind, clearing the mind. Relaxation, it's a skill, it's a technique. Teach the body to relax so the mind can also relax. Teach the mind to clear, to be calm and more relaxed so that the body can also relax. Hey, as above, so below. It works both ways. VJ said, how do I meditate? Meditation can be done in many ways. Oftentimes in our classroom, people will say, is this meditation what we're doing in the relaxation? Yes. Try in the classroom the relaxation exercise, and that's a very good form of meditation that will not only teach you how to sync your left and right hemispheres of your brain, but it'll also get you to a state of mental clarity, being able to focus clearly on one idea or goal or thought. And through that exercise, it's focusing on simply relaxation. All right, so try that out. And that's a great way to start with your meditation. Eventually, we'll have our pranayama exercises up there. And that's another really good way to start with meditation. Then, when you're done with pranayama, you'll see that sitting peacefully, calmly becomes a lot easier because the body's full of air. When you have plenty of oxygen circulating through the body, you're able to sit with more clarity and peace. Sifu is Hindi. No, he sounds like it sometimes, but no. He's it's hard to say. He's Persian heritage, I would say, and born and raised in the United States. But he's been all over the world. He's seen a lot.
If you really love the superpower stuff, I'll tell you this: it comes from relaxation, and the more and more you can relax your mind, the more and more your mind will expand outward, and you'll be able to feel your environment around you. And then the more and more
Yes.
you relax, more and more you begin to notice more and more about what is truly possible within the mind. Now, if you're looking for it and you haven't learned how to grab onto it, like me when I'm doing an exercise for breakdancing that I know is going to make that technique that I'm working on better, I'm not reaching on to air and grabbing. I know what I'm grabbing on. But when you don't know how to attain what you want and you're just reaching for air, your mind is gonna be stressed out. But when you
Hmm.
all ultimately, as you relax, which is a skill, you're gonna be able to notice all these different things that you never noticed before that one calls supernatural.
Yep. Very true. Very true. Well, you know, all those superpowers are, VJ, is a result of your cultivation. All right. So how you're cultivating your heart and mind and whether you're doing the physical work to cultivate, will start to unlock these superpowers. You pursue the superpowers, it's like starting to build the roof of a house before you've built the foundation of the house. That's silly, right? No matter how much you want a roof over your head, if you just start building the roof first, the moment the wind blows, it's going to fall down. The moment it snows or rains, it's going to fall down. And you can keep working on that roof and ignore the foundation, but you're going to keep having to rebuild the roof every night, every storm, every time the wind blows. And you're going to be starting from scratch every single time. We've seen it happen with thousands of people in our school, in our classrooms from the last 20 years that we've been teaching. Well, Sifu 20, me about 15, 16. Everybody wants the superpowers. They go practice the telekinesis. They go practice the telepathy. They go practice all these different abilities. And then they end up getting headaches, getting problems with anxiety. People don't want to hang out with them anymore. They can't work and do jobs anymore. And they're still only able to move a small object, still only able to feel the thoughts of what their mother's thinking once in a while, their roommates. It's maddening, guys. You can't chase after these things that come as side effects of your cultivation. You just got to realize that you are here to cultivate. You're put on this earth to create a vessel for yourself that can harness the energy that the world is trying to give you so that you can dissolve the karma, all these block energies that you already have that are blocking you from receiving the energy from the universe. And once you've started to cultivate your heart and your mind, and they start to connect with each other, okay, through these relaxation practices, static standing postures, learning to sync your breath, and learning to truly relax, then your physical nervous system can handle these superpowers as they become available to you. And again, when the mind is not in sync with the body, it's worthless to even have these abilities. You'll lose them. You'll cause harm to yourself and even others unknowingly.
And another thing too, it, these abilities ultimately come from the flow of your energy being open. If you can't, if you have an ability right now, VJ, that you want to do, and you can't do it. It's simply because the energy isn't flowing properly and you have blockages. That's really it. You can do it, but you can't because you have blockages and you can't relax them. The more and more you relax the energy channels in your body, the more and more they free open. You might start to feel like you can stand on air. You might notice that, oh, I don't have to muscle this movement anymore. I just feel into it and I'm off the ground. As someone who's been breakdancing for 15 years, I don't have to muscle my movements anymore. I just feel and I do a windmill. I don't have to muscle a windmill. I don't have to muscle a handstand. But that comes from having no blockages. And now, once you understand what a blockage is, that's where you no longer have to look for it. Once you understand how to open these blockages, that's when you really are getting to the meat and potatoes of these cities you're looking for. You have to know how to unblock these blockages. And you can't unblock them if you're constantly looking outside of yourself. That's good that you can side wheel, but if you're forcing it and if it feels like you're not doing it with honestly, the moment you think about the side wheel moving a direction, it should move in a direction. If it's not moving in that
Yeah.
direction, you have blockages. If you have to put your hand there to it and push out, that's too much. You have to get rid of the blockages in your system first, which can only occur from freeing your mind from looking outside of yourself. You have to be content with yourself. Once you're content with what you're doing, then the blockages will begin to free yourself.
Well said. Very true. Well, you can do the thigh wheel, and if it when it becomes effortless, that's how you know that you're ready to, try to move other objects. But you always want to do your practice first. You don't just want to go right into telekinesis practice without having built the breath in the body, without building the stillness within the heart and the mind. So, go to the classroom, do an exercise or two, and then go try your telekinesis. If you want to see how it affects your telekinesis because you don't know that it works, maybe try a minute or two of the side wheel and then see what it takes, and then go do your exercise. And you try the side wheel again, and you'll see, okay, I don't have to try so hard. Why was I trying so hard? Why am I giving myself headaches? Why am why am I spending so much time on this when 5 minutes a day is all I need to do to make improvements? If you do it every day for 5 minutes, but you do all the other things that you should be doing for an hour a day, you will see huge improvements. But if you go spend an hour on the side wheel and you say, I'll just do 5 minutes of the qigong practice, I'll just do 5 minutes of relaxation, 5 minutes of breathing, not even 5 breaths. Most people they can't spend time doing the breathing stuff. That's why we put it up there for you so you can really put effort into it. You know, that's when you'll start to see changes. Um, so yeah, next step for once you can do the side wheel is don't try to keep doing this. You're already doing this too much. You're building your root, but you have no foundation. So Sifu says, first make the right start. Just because you can move the side wheel doesn't mean that you're ready for moving bigger objects or trying to do more telekinesis. Actually, that just tells you that you've been given something that maybe others don't have. And the more you try to go from there and build, 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 the more you're going to lose what you've been blessed with. So start in the right place. Stop reaching so high. It's already there. You know it's available for you. So get back to here. Sifu says, start with gentleness. All right. Build that foundation of learning relaxation on a deep level. Build your posture. Okay. Start with those. Otherwise, you will burn out fast. I promise. Your nervous system will burn up. Your brain will start to get cooked. All right. You'll experience more discomfort than you need if you keep going after those desires that you seek. Okay. Start with relaxation. Start with breathing. Start with posture. Get the qigong, practice some tai chi, some yoga, and you want to spend 5 minutes on, some side wheel, do it, but make sure you do the other things first. All right.
I want to add, so blockages occur with everything we do. If I'm gonna go cook, the moment I feel frustration, that's a blockage. And if you want to really get good at this stuff, you have to be able to be aware of when frustration is building and a blockage is occurring. If I were to sit, I have the patience to sit and move a ping pong ball for an hour. It's something that I've learned is a part of me, and I'm not, I'm content where I'm at. It's like lifting weights. I'm fine with the amount of weights I can do, and that's perfectly fine. And the more and more it becomes a part of you, the more and more you're content, and you're not looking outside of yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, when you're sitting there doing an exercise of any merit, you have to pay attention to the blockages that are occurring. If I'm coding for 3 hours, there's going to start to become blockages and frustration that are going to make me think of doing something else. So ultimately, you're doing telekinesis all day, every
Yep.
day, whenever you're moving and living life. You just have to be able to free your mind from the blockages. And the more and more that you no longer are frustrated, the stronger you get at these abilities. You don't have to sit there and just move an object all day. Every time you're doing anything, moving your hand, that's telekinesis. But more importantly, being able to be aware of the frustration that's coming from an activity is occurring. And that's what's going to free the blockages is no longer feeling frustration.
Very good. Very good, man. Well said. When you're going out throughout your daily life, you can't be, stuck in this telekinesis mode. I used to do it everywhere I go. I'd be telekinesising everything. Even electronics would, stop working and stuff. You got to learn that, life is always, energy is always being used. It's being projected. It's being shared. Everything is energy. So when you start to pay more attention to, the blockages that you're creating for yourself within your own energy system, then you can start doing something about it. And again, start with the foundational exercises. All the things we put in school that are available right now, spend an hour doing that every day. Hey, pick one or two of those modules and just use that as your regimen. I don't care if you lift weights all day or go play sports and stuff. Do that. Do that first. Do it after, not after, because after is a little difficult to have the patience. But if you have the patience, do it after too. I do it before and after I do everything, because that's how my lifestyle is, and it makes everything that much easier. And instead of just, plateauing in my development, I'm actually able to keep growing little by little, little by little, and every day gets better and better. Some days I'll fall off a little bit because of bad choices, but you'll bounce right back up the moment you decide to make the right choices, right action, right mind, the right thoughts. Okay, you got to keep pushing towards those kind of things.
The technique is to free your mind. That's it. If you're putting force into it, that's the technique, and that's wrong. It's to free your
Yeah.
mind from all the frustrations you have. The moment you free your mind from everything you are uncontent with, is the moment that you will be able to have no blockages. That's it. You got to stop looking. You got to stop
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
outside of yourself and be content.
Yeah. He said, how long? Well, like I said, set an hour aside to do, to give to yourself. You know, if you
Forever.
don't if you don't have an hour, then at least 30 minutes. Give yourself. You owe it to yourself, right? You're given this amazing piece of equipment, this body and mind, right? It's a gift. Two things that we take advantage of. And you owe it to yourself to give to it. 30 minutes is nothing. You can give yourself an hour, that's you're gonna see faster changes, right? Every day you do it, man, within 90 days, you're gonna see the biggest changes you felt in your life if you do it every single day. But if you quit one day and forget about it or just don't do it because something else seems more important or more tangible, you're gonna fall off very quickly and have to start from scratch again. Yeah, do it every day, man. And for how long? All the time. Sifu said forever. Don't stop. It's like eating. You want to stop eating? No. You want to stop drinking water? No. How do you feed your soul? How do you feed your spirit? Practice. Go to school classroom, practice some of those exercises. That is food. That is water. That's nourishment for your spirit and this vessel that we call the body that contains your spirit. You're not developing the vessel, then how can your spirit rest? It's gonna be always anxious. So the physical exercise is very important, just as much as your daily cultivation of the heart and mind. And that's developing your character throughout daily life, how you're thinking, how you're choosing to feel, how you're treating people with your mind, with your heart, with your words, externally and internally. Are you doing something to develop your character? Are you reading something that helps remind you of character, right? Religious texts help with that. Whether it's the Quran, the Bible, hey, the Torah, doesn't matter. Pick it up, read it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, one line. Okay, every day though, it's gonna help you cultivate. All right, Sifu. Thank you for joining. We'll see you. And yeah, we do have to end in about a minute or two, guys. So I know I've been ranting, rambling, but hopefully it's been helpful. And yeah, just do it and you'll appreciate it for sure. Well said. Appreciation comes with effort. Man, that's very wisely said. Not desires. Appreciation comes with the effort that you give. Very good.
Hey,
If you want people to like you, that's it, man. Just you got to like yourself. That starts with, setting these little goals for your health and working towards it. Everyone will love you for it.
hey, Coach Reza.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, no, that's a good point. A lot of good things said, especially about how to nourish the soul, how to feed it. Um, yeah, those are the big questions I feel like that I like to ponder. But the exercise,
Nice.
I wanted to ask about the exercise before we run, because I've
Yeah,
had a lot of good the past couple weeks. I haven't really a lot of fun with them, a lot of good results and stuff. Um,
amazing.
the biomechanics of it, I wanted to ask about, and especially like the horse stance, as far as like the phasic and tonic muscles of it. I know it's getting into a little detail, but it's about. I think I'm in the right circle. We're talking about awareness because in the body, I'm aware and I'm aware of some of the kinks and posture, and I'm like, oh, I got room
Yep.
for improvement. I'm listening to what my body and just trying to communicate. So, and I've heard a
Hmm.
lot of people talk about horse stance and what muscles should be soft as opposed to what people would normally think, oh, that would be kind of in a kind of like a dynamic tension, especially like the glutes. The one the one, I guess, point was he was talking, oh, you want your glutes soft and really relaxed. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because I was like in the horse stance, I was like, oh, in the horse stance, I'm dynamic. I feel like it's an isometric, but perhaps I'm wrong.
Hmm.
So maybe could you help me kind of how you kind of understand the muscles of those static stances? What should be soft? What's proper? What's right and what's wrong? Even though there is no, right or wrong. Just what I guess what adds to and what takes away.
Man, you're well advanced beyond even what you may think you are. But I tell you what, Rob, that's a very good question because oftentimes people try to control the tension in their body while they're doing exercise, physical exercise, and I don't recommend that. All right, they say soften the glutes. That's just like one way to get to what we're really trying to do. We want the breath and blood to circulate, right?
Yep. Okay, so
And
priority is breath and the circulation. Okay.
right, so we want the glutes to get circulation and breath. So if
Mhm.
you got to soften them a bit so that there can be expansion and contraction happening, not just contraction the whole time,
Oh yeah, yeah.
then yeah, you can put a little attention into, letting that expansion occur. But the goal is to not let the upper body start to get tight.
Ah,
Because what's gonna happen is as above, so
yeah.
below. And
Mm-hmm.
energetically in Tai Chi, we teach that the shoulders and hips are connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your shoulders are getting tight while you're holding the horse stance, yeah, your hips are gonna lock up quick. And your glutes are going to get so tight. And instead of letting energy circulate, flow, it's going to feel like, wow, whatever's there is dormant and getting stuck. And it's going to become more difficult to hold the posture. And
That's
what
good
can
information.
happen over time is it can start to become a little easier actually. I know sometimes when Sifu does it, I'm like, yo, now it looks like he's doing it effortlessly.
Yeah.
And at first getting to the proper rhythm of the heart and the breathing and proper tension and relaxation, maybe you can't get there right away. Maybe it takes 5 months, 6 months of practicing the horse stance to get there. But
Okay.
you could force yourself and learn that, okay, wait a minute, my breath isn't getting there, right? And that's how we learn. Sometimes, like me, dog, I got to do it for a minute and a half until I realize, holy crap, I'm being too stiff. I'm being too tense. You know,
Yeah. Yes.
my mind's going all over the place. No wonder I can only do it for this long.
Uh-huh.
So you'll start to learn more. This awareness about what you're doing will start to open up, and
Okay.
you'll see what you're doing. You know, whether it's too much of one or another, or am I allowing certain things to the processes to occur naturally, or am I
Mhm.
forcing it? So you don't, like that the guy said about the glutes, you don't want to force anything. All
Yeah.
right. And you don't want to collapse your posture just so that something can relax. So
Mhm.
find that fine line
Okay.
between what's explained in the class
Mhm.
and between learning to find that proper level of tension and relaxation.
Cool. That helps. Okay. Um, what about the head on the plank position? Why is the head up, looking forward? Why is that? Because I'm used to like you want some integrity, but why is that? Do you know why the head is looking up and straight forward?
Your breath.
Okay, so it opens up. Okay. Okay.
There's these points here
Uh-huh.
along the collarbone that everybody has blockages.
Ah.
And a lot of it comes from shallow breathing and, poor diet and eating before bed and stuff like that. So when you're holding the posture, you're
Mhm.
opening it up a bit and your breath is able to reach these points. You don't want to look up towards the ceiling, but straight forward is very helpful.
Yeah, so that's the principle is to open up that the clavicles. Okay. Okay, that
Yeah,
helps.
you
That
don't you
totally
don't want it to
makes
close while you're holding the stretch or the posture.
Okay, cool. Oh, okay, I can't wait to jump in now. Okay, cool.
Awesome, brother.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the great questions too.
Well, I'll see you guys later.
All right, we'll see you next time, man. All right. Any questions? Oh, last one. We got to run after this, guys. But VJ said, "Are you vegetarians, good sirs?" Jimmy said, "I was for a long time. It did make me feel more or less stressed. Pretty cool, man. Very good. I am not a vegetarian, but these days I've been trying to incorporate more different colors and different types of foods that are veggies into my diet. So I'm, trying to incorporate a lot more of these things, and it's been actually helping a lot with feeling more free, less energy stagnancy, more energy flowing through me without, problems. And I've been feeling lighter on my feet, more flexible as well. So, if you are a vegetarian, more power to you. But in this day and age where we live, it does help for me to have some meat and some food that is made from animals to get the proper amount of calories, to teach. I got 9 classes I got to teach throughout the day, and I don't want to be like, hey guys, let's all relax, take a deep breath. That's not how I teach. I'm like, all right, guys, calm your mind down, stop talking so much, relax your nerves. My nerves might not be relaxed while I'm telling them, but everybody needs a coach, man. So I got to have this high energy output wherever I go to teach because that's what it's required for people to snap out of you know, whatever they're doing mentally or emotionally. Wake up, take a breath, smell the coffee. Don't drink the coffee, just smell it. Smell the cakes and cookies. It actually makes you feel happy. You don't got to eat it. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys being here. And Jimmy, man, keep up the good work. VJ, great job. Keep it up. Check out the classroom. Put some time into it. All right. And we'll see. Maybe you have more questions about the exercises next week. All right. See you guys. Peace.
I love you, brother. Peace.
Later. Thanks again, Jimmy.